Okay. Everybody that can stand up, go ahead and stand up. If you can't stand up, you can still do this sitting. It's just a real simple Qigong practice. It's morning here in the United States, so we're still waking up. Take your left hand, just start shaking it from the wrist. Just start shaking your hand from the wrist. And then bring it up to the elbow, like start shaking the wrist and the elbow. And then add the bicep, tricep, and shoulder, just like you make some sound. Just shaking off anything that you've kind of accumulated in your hands. And then come to the right hand, start with the wrist. And then the elbow, and then all the way up to the shoulder. And then do both. Just make sound, it's cool. Make some sound. Good. And then bring your arms down by your side. You want to be able to stand with your feet facing forward like they're on train tracks. Arms by your side. Heart lifted, shoulders drop back. And then you put your weight on your left foot, raise your right foot, and you're just going to start to shake your ankle. Ankle, 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 ankle. Ankle. Just shaking the ankle, the toes. Then the shin. And then all the way up to the knee. And then all the way up to the hip. Like just shake, 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 shake. Keep going, shake, 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 shake. If you need to put your hand on a chair to balance yourself, that's cool too. And then you can put that down. Then put your weight on your right foot. Left foot comes up. Shake the ankle. Shake the knee. Shake the quad. Thigh. And then all the way up to the hip bone. Just getting all the blood flowing. Good. And then place that down. But then you're going to bring your feet together and your hands down by your hips like this. And then you're going to shake your ass. Shake your ass. Go ahead. Nobody's watching. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Just shake your ass. You make a sound. Get down with it. Good. And then bring your arms down by your side. Take your right arm, pound up the left arm, down the left arm, down the left side. Take your left arm, pound up the right arm, down. Good, good, good. And then start just below your navel. And just clear that center column up past the navel, solar plexus, heart. Good. And then take your fist, light fist, and pound up and down your kidneys. Wake up your kidneys. Batteries of the body. Your adrenals, your kidneys. And then take flat palms, and you're going to start at the top of your kidneys. You're going to slap all the way down. Down, come down the sides of your legs. Slap them down. And then up the insides of your legs. Good. And one more time, start at the top, all the way down the outsides of your legs, and the inside of your leg. Good. And then bring your arms down by your side and just notice. That was about 4 minutes or so. Is there more of you available? Is there more of you available? That's all we want to know. So much of embodiment work and intimacy work is just making more of you available to the world. All right, one last piece here. So with your feet hip distance apart, I want you to really root your feet into the ground. So imagine that your feet are 6 feet under, really rooted into the ground. And I want you to pull your navel in and also root your sacrum so that from the navel down, it's almost like from the navel down, you're underground. And then with light fists, you're going to want to start to twist from the waist. So you're twisting. And then you're going to let your arms be like whips and just kind of whip around, pounding on your abdomen, kidneys, your organs, just Gently pounding on them, getting blood flow into your organs, into your abdomen, to your womb, to your kidneys, liver. And then as you can inhale left and exhale right. Make some sound. You're just wringing out any tension, any stress, any feelings of frustration. In fact, you can let yourself get a little frustrated here. Just whatever frustrations you've been holding, cooped up in your apartment or house. Just let them out. Good, and then you can start to come up a little bit. So now you're pounding on the bottom of your ribs and the back of top of your kidneys. Waking up the ribs. And then up just below the collarbone. Pound just below the collarbone and the back of the kidneys. Let out any frustrations. Twist. You can even look over your shoulder if you want to make the twist a little more intense. But you do this without losing any of your grounding. So don't lose any grounding. And slapping the back of the neck. And then back down just below the collarbones. And back down to the bottom of the ribs. And then down to the abdomen. Twisting, twisting, twisting. Good. And then ending by slapping just below your navel and just above your sacrum, a little bounce, a little pep in your step. Arms down by your side. Stand tall like a tree, just for 30 seconds. Feeling your legs, your abdomen, your genitals, everything rooted into the earth. But like a tree, from the waist up, your trunk up, you're reaching for the sky. So rooted into the earth, but heart lifted to the sky. Just feel the strength like a tree. You're still, but there's all of this energy running up and down the trunk. There's all this energy in your skin, just like leaves, in your limbs, just like branches. Feel yourself rooted down. And so this is how I'd like you to come to the call, feeling yourself rooted into the earth, but from the navel. So imagine you could split your body into two, from the navel down, rooted into the earth like a tree. From the navel up, imagine yourself with a big trunk, leaves, huge branches, heart lifted to the sky. You can come back to your seats and join us.
Welcome back.
Okay, everybody can hear me okay. All that's good. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, one of the things that we're facing here in this brave new world are just ways to stay really connected to our bodies. And, you know, that took somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes. I don't know exactly how long. But everybody feels that you can feel yourself more available. Yes? Hoping, right? And part of what we can do, one of the things that I've learned over the years, and much to my dismay and to most people who I teach, is that the amount of awareness and practice we have to bring in order to really become embodied is way more than we think. It's way more than we think, because you think about the habits of our body minds from the time we were young, right? You got 30, 40, 50 years of habits. Then you add your generational karma, your epigenetics, and all of that shit. And it takes time. There's a lot of practice needed. But the good news is that some of it can be super simple, and you can do it just while you're sitting. And the one I gave you is one of my favorites, which is pretend that your feel down, root your sacrum, root your feet, press down through your knees, and really root that bottom half of your body. Then you can lift up from the trunk, and that can just be your practice. Sitting on a business call, running your own groups, whatever y'all are doing, that can be your practice to just continually root down through the lower part of your body and then reach for the sky with your heart. Sounds very simple, but there's no net time. You know, you don't make any funny noises. Nobody needs to know, right? And yet your body is so much more available. So, you know, however you fit these things in, fit them in. Even if it's just that pounding on your body a few times a day, breathing a few times a day, whatever you can do during the course of your day to reconnect to the earth, reconnect to the core of your body, wake up your nervous system, wake up your body. Those impacts, the impact of those things is profound and it's exponential. And whoever you're relating with will feel you much more deeply. Okay, so with that said, where are we starting, Nicolette?
We're going to start with Sarah S. So Sarah, go ahead and unmute yourself, and you can ask John a question.
Hi, John.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. I'm new to your teachings, and I'm really excited because it's, you know, I feel like it's called to me. But I just wanted to ask you, because I've had a painful breakup last year that kind of shook my confidence, and ever since then I've just felt, even though that I've moved forward from that relationship, I don't feel that I've really recovered from the heartbreak that I felt, and I think I'm carrying that into my dating efforts since then. And I find that I get a little excited right off the bat, and then I'm when it doesn't work out, I feel really rejected and I feel heartbroken all over again. And I'm quite a sensitive person, so these emotions have just been taking a real toll on me. So I'm wondering what I need to do to work on myself so that I'm going into these interactions from a better place. And I'm also wondering how I can magnetize what I want and what I desire in a time like this where everyone's so isolated and I don't even know if there's opportunity for connection. Should I just be working on myself at this time? And I'm also kind of struggling with the balance of, I know a lot of your teachings are about being open and showing that longing from the feminine heart. How do I do that without kind of moving too quick or coming across as too much too soon?
Okay. All right, there's a lot there. I'll give you.
I know.
But so, you know, I tend to look at dating in a very, you know, particular way. I actually think that when we approach dating from the place of trying to get something from somebody, right, get in a certain way, and this is true for men and women, or however, all human beings really, when we're going in there to get something or to fix something or to, you know, heal something, you know, we're already off on the wrong foot. And so I tend to think that, and I'm not accusing you of being self-centered, and, you know, but I do think there's a tendency when people have a broken heart to get back on the horse and go back in there, and, you know, and which is great, but it's a paradox, because I think that most people go into dating from the place of trying to show up on a date, and the first questions that I hear women asking are, is he the one? Can he be the one? Should he be the one? What's my checklist of how do I interview him to see if he's the one, right? And it's part of it you can't help. Part of it you can't help. Men do the same thing. And the moment we do that, we're missing the person in front of us. We've already ejected from the present moment, and what's possible in the present moment into a future evaluation. So part of what I tell people to do on dates is to treat every date as a practice of you offering something of yourself that feels like a gift. Right? So if it was a man that I was speaking to now, I'd say, okay, just show up to a date, no expectations, no history, and practice leading her or him, doesn't matter. Practice leading your date beautifully, impeccably, have everything planned, communicate what the plan is, hold space for him or her, everything, like leading them well, and let that be how you approach the date. Like what can I give, right? So for you, I would ask you to get clear. If you want to date, sure, great. But go into them with from a place of what can I practice offering, and then see, like, does it make them more joyful? Does it bring them more, that kind of thing. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. I think like a lot of the feedback I get from my friends, I mean, I love connecting and getting to know someone and hearing about them and learning about them. And sometimes I get the feedback from friends or whatever that I give too much too soon, or that I, get a little like.
I kind of call bullshit on give too much too soon. Expect too much, maybe. I don't think we can give too much too soon.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like, could I, if I show up at a date and my intention is to lead you well and create a really beautiful experience for you, am I giving too much too soon?
Yeah.
No, I think that's kind of I think that what we lack oftentimes in dating is a really clear intention to give without expectation.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's hard.
You might say, fuck you, man. Like, how am I supposed to have no expectation? And it's totally cool. I get it. But the more that we can start to move into that place and really show, and now this is true if you're in a relationship. Like suppose you're home with kids, right? You get 1 or 2 chances a week to really connect with your partner, right? How you show up without expectation with the intention of giving them a gift, of really gifting them, will also impact the relationship you're in. So I think this applies to all of us who are in this.
Yeah.
Other piece that I think is the deeper, the more meta piece for you.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you're over your heartbreak from last year. Everybody else feel this too? Is it just me? She knows
it's not even like this person so much. It's like it was like an acute heartbreak that has now become chronic in my life.
But so be careful about the story you're telling yourself. Okay. Right? Make it an acute heartbreak that is now chronic, and now I'm destined to live this out with every possible relationship. Fuck that shit, right? I mean, you really, sometimes we have to slap ourselves and go, what's the story I'm telling myself? Because the stories we tell ourselves tend to become true.
Okay.
Not only in a material manifestation, right? I mean, but also in our body mind. If I'm telling myself the story like, how's this guy going to hurt me? Oh, it's going to be the same thing. And if I'm silently telling myself that story, what do you think my body's going to be doing? Open or closed?
Yeah.
Right? Am I going to be my heart going to be more relaxed or more tense?
Yeah.
Right? So it's important that we bring emotional awareness, our own, we take responsibility. All of us need to take responsibility for the emotional states that we're bringing to a date or to an encounter with our lover. And that's why my whole spiel about personal practice I think is so important, because ultimately we have to take responsibility to show up. So let's say the next time you go out on a date, you do a practice, you do like a half an hour of feminine practice, or you dance, or whatever just feels good. You take a long bath, whatever's pleasurable for you. Okay. And create from that place an intention to pick a practice, be responsive, or be vulnerable, or have pleasure in your body, or praise, praise him, right? So you make a practice. You can pick more than one, but you set an intention, like, I'm going to take this open body that I've cultivated, this joyful heart, and I'm going to practice these things as a gift to him. And then see how that, and then pay attention. Okay, so he opens the door for you and you kind of coo and he smiles. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
You kind of go, and he smiles. He makes you, he hands you a menu and you wanted him to order for you. So you go, or whatever, right? Right? And that's responsiveness. I know it sounds crazy, but you are training him to pay attention to your nervous system.
Okay. Yeah.
Gift to him, whether you guys have a second date or not.
Yeah.
Right. And he orders for you, and you're just like, and he picks the perfect thing, and then you might clap. You're amplifying your responsiveness, because men tend to be a little denser. Not dense, but our nervous systems are a little dense. So you might think, hey, I'm responding. He knows exactly what I'm feeling, or, because I'm making a fool of myself. But he's thinking, like, was that a yes?
Yeah.
Did I get that? Or was that something, did she have, like, was that indigestion, or was she actually like I don't know. So, or you can practice. And again, this is practice. Now, if you were practicing tennis, for example, you could go out there, practice tennis, do your best, have a great workout. You'll miss some balls, you'll hit some balls, feel good, but you're not going to beat yourself up the whole time you're practicing. I hope. Like, you're not going to be like, you're not going to go John McEnroe on us, right? You're going to be into the tennis.
Yeah.
Moving, responding, right? Okay. So that's the date piece. I hope that's helpful for other people who are considering. That's a Zoom date too.
Yeah. That's what's happening in New York right now.
Yeah, of course. So, but the bigger piece is, I would suggest, and I've said this to a lot of women recently, that you create a space on your mat daily to honor your own yearning heart.
Okay.
Because again, you're right. It's not about the guy who you've split up with. It's about probably a lifetime, if not lifetimes, of heart.
Yep.
To honor that is to create a space to go in completely. No apologies, no halfway going in. Like, you go in with like, I'm going in to touch the depth of my soul crushing yearning.
I'm pretty good at doing that.
Doing that, I would make it a daily practice, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just keep doing it. And eventually it will clear. It's a finite pool of grief.
Okay.
It is a finite pool of grief. And so if, the thing maybe I would want to refine for you is you create a ritual for it.
Yeah.
A way to honor, right? So when we light candles, and you might have a sheepskin and you light some candles and you play music that really speaks to your heart. And, I still do this, when it's time for me to grieve my daughter. I did it. It was my birthday the other night. I took out a card for her that she had given me.
I saw.
Okay, I put music on and I cried like a fucking baby, unabashedly, because I'm in pain.
Yeah.
And for those of us, anybody not in pain at all? Like, fuck it, it's everything. I'm firing on all cylinders, right? I mean, everybody's carrying some pain. So how we honor our own pain is not only healing to our own nervous system, and it's an act of self-love, a very deep act of self-love. So
Okay.
I like the most loving act of, so whatever would be the most self-loving ritual you could do. So maybe you get flowers, fresh flowers every few days, and you create an altar of space. Maybe you create an altar to your yearning heart and you fill it with pictures and, and statues or whatever. And then you have a sheepskin and you pick new music every day. That's like a ritual. And this is a ritual for you to touch your heart. and 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 that takes it out of the realm of just being sad.
Yeah.
The realm of actual of true healing.
Yeah.
Of true healing. So ritual is very, very important. Candles are very important, in my opinion, very important. And so the space that you create should reflect the truth of your heart. And if the truth of your heart is lonely, let it reflect that. If the truth of your heart. Now, when you go into this practice, I want you to do so without, where'd you go? Everybody moved around. Okay, there you are. When you go into this practice, I want you to do so without thought.
Okay.
Without story, right? So it's all sensation, all sensation, all sensation. Right?
Okay.
So let's say it's 10 minutes and you just feel the ache. You feel the ache and you get, a few minutes into it, and then a few minutes into it, you can feel the ache start to move. It'll shift. When you touch deep grief, it turns to joy or peace, right? So you'll feel that start to happen. And when you feel that shift, that little shift of, wow, I've touched it fully, I've honored it fully, I haven't created a fucking story around it, I've just felt it.
Okay.
And think about who to offer that to. Your practice as an offering. So it might be the first half of your practice is a deep honoring, and then your heart will start to open and you'll start to feel some joy and some love. And then you spend the next 5 minutes of your practice giving it to New York City.
Yeah.
Giving it out to everybody because everybody needs it there, right?
Yeah.
So you radiate it out to New York. So maybe the first half of your practice is an honoring of your grief, and the second half of your practice is a radiating of your love. And if you can do that, both of those things are really important, right? If you can do that every day, because you asked me about magnetizing, that is how you
okay.
That is how you honor what's true, and then you gift from there after, from the deep, rich joy of your heart.
Okay. I will try that. Thank you.
Yeah, try it for a week, and then, come back next week and tell us how you feel. Right?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, John.
Okay, next we have Hans. Hans, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Nicolette. Hi, John.
Hans, where are you, friend? Just trying to.
Right here.
Okay, see you.
Yeah, in Miami Beach. And that was a great answer you gave, Sarah. And I'm kind of along those lines, but I guess coming from a man, maybe you can help me out. It's been 3 years since my divorce, and I have been dating. And I really yearn for a relationship, and the women feel it. If I'm flirting, if we're having sex, they're like, oh, you want a girlfriend. And they back away. So, and I do enjoy being alone and being in my masculine. I love the meditation. I'm doing it 3 times a day nowadays. But my real heart is in this yearning for a relationship.
Right.
So how do I tap it down?
Right. Okay. So it's your feminine, my feminine. The masculine yearns too. The masculine tends to yearn in 2 ways. And this is true for the masculine in every human being. The masculine yearns for freedom, like freedom, right? The freedom of consciousness, the freedom of no demand, right? That part of us is our masculine. And then the masculine heart, which is basically is feminine, yearns for connection and love. What I love about your question, man, is that you're just fully owning it, right? This is I'm yearning for love too. Like, I'm lonely. I want to be in a relationship. I have love to give, right? I have love to give. Okay. And like I said to Sarah, if you step into dating or relating from that place, it especially, if you're dating a feminine woman, it will repulse her in some ways, right? It will repulse her in some ways because you're feminine, you're paying more attention to your feminine than her feminine, right? Now, that does not mean that you dishonor your own heart. You might say, like, I'm looking for the perfect, I'm absolutely looking for the perfect partner. I'm looking for the perfect love. But you say it in 2 sentences from a place of absolute stillness. So you create a structure, your body becomes a structure for the expression of your heart. Do you understand what I mean? You understand what I mean? So right now, can I be just totally straight with you?
Sure.
Right now, up until you just sat up, right? Your body was not the structure that if I was a feminine being, I would want to surrender to. Right? So your body, if you want a feminine partner, if you don't, that's cool. It's up to you.
I love the feminine.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So if you want a feminine partner, your body has to speak, has to transmit, I am he who must be trusted. I am he who must be trusted. You can even go farther, like, I am he who must be trusted to ravish your heart and cherish your soul, or cherish your heart and defile your soul, or whatever it is. But whatever it is that you want to be trusted as, your body has to be the transmission of that, first and foremost. Now that takes some time. It takes some training. I mean, that's the reason we do workshops. That's the reason we do practices. There's a lot of very deep work in training. That's actually one of the most important skill sets that a young man can learn, like how to transmit, I am he who must be trusted, to the feminine around him. Nobody teaches that unless you're in martial arts or some kind of so learning that skill set it's a yoga, David, my teacher would call it, a yoga of masculine depth. So through that yoga of masculine depth, you can bring as much heart as you want, and it will be felt by the feminine as a gift. Now, I tend to like the 2 to 3 sentence rule, which is I'm seeking the woman of my dreams, or I'm not sure exactly what to say. Nothing's coming to me in this moment, but it's really about, like, what is it your heart is yearning for? So say it in 1 sentence, like, just give me like a sentence, like what your heart is yearning for most.
I'm searching for my beloved. Great.
Okay. So I'm searching for my beloved. So if you would say that, so when you did that, and I'm being nitpicky here, man. So, cause you said I could come full force, right? So when you said head tilted this way, your voice came up in your throat. Ladies, did you feel that? Just nod so he knows. It's not just me. I'm not picking on him, right? Okay. So I want you to say that again, but I want you to say it from about 2 inches below your navel. So start by just taking a few breaths into your lower navel. Good. See, just right there, what you did. Is he more of he who must be trusted, ladies? Just raise your hand so he knows. Okay. More. Okay. Okay. Now you lost it.
I know. I saw the feminine reaction, and I'm just like falling into that.
Oh, right there, man. The whole date's ruined, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm being kind of playful, but you get the sense of, like, having to stay aware of, and it's not that you can't be excited. Of course you can, but the more movement and reaction that you have in your body, right? The less you are he who must be trusted. You're in your feminine, right? If I'm like, and I might feel that way in my heart, but they're not going to want to have sex with me. Likely. Maybe freaky ones will, but in general, like, the more I'm, like, cheerleading, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to, I'm just trying to, give some broad strokes here around the way that our nervous systems respond, right? So I want you to go ahead and find that again. You had it beautifully. Okay. So chin down, tiny bit. and just pick a woman on the call. She doesn't need to know. Just pick a woman on the call and feel her heart. Just let your heart feel her heart. And then breathing into your lower abdomen. Just say that sentence again. I'm searching for my beloved.
I'm searching for my beloved.
Better, lady? Yeah, he needs to know because he won't know that. Right, I'm searching for my beloved. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it came out deeper and everything.
Yeah.
Deeper from my voice.
Yeah. So breath, you know, if anybody who knows me knows that I'm a breath Nazi, right? So it's just like breathing down into your lower abdomen, speaking from your lower abdomen, 3-part breath. I think there's a 3-part breath practice on the virtual workshop site. I'm not sure, but we can link it. Can we link a 3-part breath? I think there's one on YouTube. There's one on YouTube. So we'll give you a 3-part breath. We'll post that. And you practice the 3-part breath, which is going to open up that whole center column and just naturally deepen your breath, deepen your voice, that kind of thing. So the other piece of this, Hans, is, like I said to Sarah, you have to be with your own yearning. Now, I might suggest to you a 3 or 6 month feminine cleanse, which means no dating, no seeking validation from the feminine. I mean, I did it for 9 months, totally changed my life, right? And I work with a lot of guys. We do it, you know, a lot of guys in the men's group do it, but it's a way for you to reset your relationship to the feminine and really create the relationship with your own feminine and hold your own heart, right? Because chances are you're carrying some heartache too, probably old stuff like me, right? And we have to get to know ourselves first. Before, you know, the big mistake I think a lot of people make, and we had to because evolutionary biology made us get into relationship before we knew ourselves because we had to procreate or we had to survive. We're now in the space of human history where that's not necessary. In fact, probably less kids would be better across the planet, right? Yes. So you got to think we have the opportunity to know ourselves before we get into relationship. And one of the great gifts that we can give our future partners is to spend, this is true for men, women, or however you identify any human being, is to give ourselves a period of time where we deepen our relationship with ourselves without the hope of any romance. The romance is with God, whatever you call God, and the romance is with your own heart. And for a masculine being, right, which you are, it becomes a death training. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, just last week, one of the things that I do in my daily meditation group is we listen to Maharishi speak. Mm. And he said something beautiful about all love is directed to the self. And that was very eye-opening and heart-opening for me, knowing that I'm the one feeling all the love. It's not coming at me. I'm responsible for what I see in other people.
Right. And I add that part of it, you know, so he's talking meditative practice as well, right? But in relational practice, I found that it's super important that we create that space without the hope of relationship, because you don't know how much you look for validation from the feminine until you remove it. You don't know, you know, how many, you know, you don't know. Most guys have we're totally blind to how much of that dopamine hit we're looking for, right? And pull it away, and we really get down with ourselves. We meet our shadows, we meet our heartbreak, we meet our addictions, we meet that, and we face that. We truly haven't, you know, that's why it's a death training, right? There's an ego death involved. Mm-hmm. And that ego death, if you come through it, you come through with the totally reset relationship to the feminine. Now you have to come through long enough to actually like really face it. That's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. But you come through it, and people can feel that you've now faced death. And I've told this story before. I was about 7 or 8 months into mine, and for some fucked up reason, I went to Burning Man, which is the wrong place to go when you're in a feminine cleanse, right? Wrong place. And while everybody else was partying out on the playa, I was like out on this lonely stretch of sand, basically, crying my eyes out every morning and every night. Just deep, deep, deep grieving, deep loneliness, facing my loneliness, facing my pain, facing the loneliness of lifetimes. And so, and I happened to, a few months later, find a woman that I spent 7 years with, right? So it's really important, I think, especially for men, to be part of men's groups, to do this deep inner work that I'm talking about, to do the yogic training that we worked on, right? To be he who must be trusted. And if you put all those three things, we got to make sure everybody's muted. If you put all those three things together, you will transmit from a higher frequency, and you will magnetize a deeper, someone who.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
So because these two questions have been on dating, I want to reiterate, right? Like that our part of our practice is to be able to, like, the key piece here, and this is hard. I know this is hard. The key piece is to be okay to be so in love with ourselves that another is not needed. That another is not needed. Another can be desired. Another can be yearned for. Another can be, enjoyed. But we only know the difference when it goes between, like, I need another to be happy. And if that's where we're coming from, we've got, in my opinion, we've got deep work to do, deep inner work to do. Okay. Who's next?
Next is Chloe. Chloe, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Nicolette. Thank you, John. Hi.
Hi.
So more dating questions. I've been seeing this guy on and off for almost a year. And it was just me coming out of a period of no masculine anything, where I had a huge ego death and all of it. And so I was not looking to rush into anything, and he wasn't either. So it was really great. And then as my heart really started opening to him, I told him where I was coming from, and he was really honest with me. And he said that he was still in love with his ex that he hadn't been with for 3 years, but we both had been in very long-term partnerships, 12 years, 11 years. And so it had been 3 years for both of us. And he said he just wasn't in a place to really be in relationship. And I honored that. And I said, well, then I can't keep doing this because of where my heart is. And so I cut off myself from texting, I didn't reach out to him. A few weeks later, he came back. And this cycle has repeated now for 9 months.
So he comes back, just so I'm clear, he comes back, and then you guys have this beautiful sort of and then he's like, wait a minute, I can't do this.
Yes. And it literally happened yesterday. So I'm practicing like crazy right now because I have all this time, and really honing in on my texting art, because I've been hearing you talk about that, and I needed so much work on that. I'm a writer, so everything was a fucking novel. So emojis have changed everything. And we saw each other. Yeah, emojis are amazing. We saw each other yesterday, and I went into it with, okay, I'm going to practice really feeling how amazingly pleasurable it is to give in to him. He's such a masculine presence, and I love being with him. Like, our sex is phenomenal. He called it transcendent, and it is. And also wanting to practice how I communicate my needs. And so I got there, and he ended up having to work later. So it was fine. I was completely relaxed and in my own thing while he was working. Afterwards, we had sex, and it was amazing. And when I was getting ready to leave, he had to finish up some work. And I went up to him, and I like straddled him, and I put my hand on his chest, and I kind of whimpered, and I said, "I'm scared." And he said, "Of what?" And I said that I'm not going to hear from you, because last time I didn't say, I was like, and he kind of asked for more. And I said, last time it was 4 days, and then I had to text you, and you said, well, you could have texted first at any point. And it made me feel like you don't actually want me. And then he went into his whole, well.
Okay. So your pattern is very common. Very common. So let me speak to the men here first, okay? Men, if you have the kind of experience that Chloe's talking about, whatever the shape of your relationship is, where you take a woman deep and you guys have a very deep experience, please take care of her the day after. Let her know that you are feeling. Right? Doesn't mean you have to be with her. It doesn't mean you have to spend the whole day with her. It just means that you have to let her know, you have to communicate, because if she's willing to give you her heart on such a deep level, I'm going to argue it's your responsibility to honor that, no matter how busy your next day is, right? So you might say something like, I know that you're very tender, and I know we went really deep, and just know that I'm going to be feeling you all morning. I'm going to, if you really want to A+, you might say, I want you to take a bath tomorrow morning, do an hour of practice, feel how, put oil on your body, feel how beautiful last night was, and then I'll text you at noon, right? And then you text her at noon and you praise her, for example, like you say, the things I loved most about last night were, the moment when, the moment then, right? And then you say, and I've got to go back to work, my love. I won't be able to reach out to you, right? And then you give her some direction. Okay, I want you to just do whatever feels good. Go spend time with girlfriends, watch movies, just trust your heart, do whatever feels good, and then text me at 6 and just tell me what was great. You're giving her structure. Now, if you want to, otherwise you are creating, in my opinion, and most men, again, I was not taught this, most guys aren't taught this. Now, this does not mean that you have to spend the whole next day with her when you have work to do, right? But you do have to find a place in your awareness to care for her if she's going to give you such a deep offering. Does this make sense to you men? Just give me a nod, like you guys are getting what I'm saying. Okay, because we create shit karma if we don't do that. I believe we literally, if we take a woman to a deep place and then drop her, we're creating karma. Right. So I just wanted to give that to the men, Chloe, right?
Yeah, thank you for that.
So, and then I want to say to you, the question that really occurs to me is, can you be okay with giving yourself to him knowing that he's going to drop you? I just want to let that hang. And I want to let that hang. Like, can you love fully knowing that this man sounds like he works a lot, sounds like he's into his job, or he's got something going on that's really important to him? Yeah?
Yeah, he's working a lot. It's not super important to him, but he's working a lot.
Well, guys, men's self-esteem comes from productivity.
Yeah.
Not from love. You get that?
No, totally. And I'm.
He if love did it for me, I would be so happy. right? I've gotten loved so beautifully in my life, right? But it doesn't do it for me. Like my self-esteem is still related somewhat to productivity, or
Yeah.
now it's shifting a bit to my connection to the infinite, right? Which is the most productive thing I can do. So the question to ask yourself is, can you let him off the hook for taking care of you at all? But there's a big but in here, but stay responsive to the truth of your heart. So it might be like noon the next day, you haven't heard from him, and you just send him crying kitty emoji and a broken heart, right?
Yeah.
Or you know, or you send him, you know, devil emoji and a stabbing knife, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever's true in your heart, right? But you don't, so you're honest with him and you express to him, and then he, you know, and then he'll come back and he'll go, what? You know, like guides do, like, what? I thought, you know, because the men will think, hey, we had a beautiful night. I gave her everything. She was like so happy, and now she's upset at me. We don't get why. Most guys don't get why, right? So, but as long as you are relying on him to somehow fill that feeling of droppedness that happens the day after, it will continue. This cycle will continue. Once you can release that, or you can just find a way to be with the divine or girlfriends or another container that can hold that, right? Things can shift around this.
It's so deep, this, and I know it's like not just, it's all of the social conditioning of hearing like, and it is partially true, but feeling taken to this incredibly deep level and then not being taken care of after, I feel used. And I know that's not what he's trying to do. Like he's a good man. And I told him that yesterday. Like I praised the shit out of him. And it's hard to trust the space enough to even do that, when in my head I know like he's giving me this excuse of my heart's somewhere else, but then still reaching out to me.
Yeah.
So,
and so he's shown you who he is. He's shown you who he is. And he's shown you as a guy who, when he, you know, like he obviously cares for you. He obviously cares for you, and he's still dealing with this other stuff. So this is now in the realm, because you're a big girl and you seem to have a really good head on your shoulders, right? This is now where your masculine gets to shepherd your feminine. Now you're coming to me, so I'm kind of playing a surrogate masculine role here, right? But you have to decide, can I give him everything and not punish him for what the truth he's already shared with me? He shared two truths that I can see. He shared he doesn't necessarily know what to do after a very deep experience with you. He doesn't know how to care for you. And he shared that his heart is still connected to his ex. So those are two deep truths. Can I give him everything without punishing him for that truth? Those truths. And if the answer is no, don't ever see him again, in my opinion. Never again. Right? If the answer is yes, then you're going to fail. But you set that intention and you reveal to him, I know you don't like, so let's just go the day after, right? The day after. So day after. And it's early, right? So at noon, you haven't heard from him. So you send him emoji, crying kitty, whatever your heart's feeling, right? You send him something, right? And then he says, what's going on, baby? What? Right? And you're like, I know. So you let him off the hook. You say, I know the last thing you want is to hurt me. But for me to go, for me to not hear from you this morning hurts. Or for me to not feel you this morning is painful. And I'm just being honest. And then, so you feel the difference, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a release of blame but there's an expression of truth. And so you're giving him information, and you're also training him as to what is needed to be with you, even if you guys are together once a month, twice a month.
Yeah.
Now, part of what I just want to make sure you understand is, if this person is taking you deeper than you've gone in a long time or gone before, there's nothing wrong with you yearning. There's nothing wrong with you being crazy and wild in your feminine heart. In fact, that's normal. So I just want to make sure you aren't judging yourself for that. Does that make sense? Right? Like,
yeah. I can't. It's like, I literally can't.
Just like, you know, he can't help his relationship to his purpose. You can't help your relationship to your heart, right? Or his relationship to freedom. You can't help, you know, your relationship to love, right? Love-driven being, freedom-driven being. So I want to stop there. Does that all feel doable? You can push back if you like, but.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it's a very helpful container for me to, and structure for me to keep practicing in, and that's helpful. I feel like there's a mix of fear and judgment still of opening my heart fully and wanting to, and it's not punishing him, but it's my own practice of opening myself up so willingly and fully, no, without like
No guarantees.
Yeah, totally. It's so fucking scary. And to just keep doing it for like this long, it's fucking terrifying. And it's like, it feeds this cycle in my head of, oh, nothing's happening.
The only reason it's wrong is because you're expecting that something should happen other than love. Okay? And I'm not saying that you should stay with a man who's not meeting your needs. I'm not saying that that's the case. But what I'm saying is that he's now been very clear to you about these truths. And if this is why I'm saying you have to be honest with yourself about whether or not you can be with these truths and love this good man through these truths. And if you do, I'm just going to say, not that this should be your intention, but if you do, and you love him and you bless his purpose and you bless his work and you bless his freedom and you whatever, if there's non-negotiables, like we aren't seeing other people, if that's a non-negotiable, like I need to at least know that, or there's non-negotiables like, don't please just contact me the day after. Like that's a non-negotiable. You can offer him non-negotiables with you if you want to do this. But you have to really be honest with yourself about, can I be with those two truths and not, I know you said you're not punishing him, and I know you're not consciously doing that, but to the masculine nervous system, it feels like punishment. Like it feels like, wow, I'm hurting her. I'm being honest with her. I'm telling her exactly where I'm at, and she's still in so much pain. Like that feels shitty to a good man. And he'll want to eject. So I just personally believe that if you're going to step into love knowing you're going to get annihilated, then go be a sacrifice on the altar of love. This is men or women, men too, right? And trust that what's on the other side of that will be deep and beautiful. Whether it's you learning how to be with your own heart in uncertainty, right? Or with having no control whatsoever, can I still love? That's a fucking deep practice. That is a deep practice and terrifying for most women and men. But I'm lying if I said that's not one of the deepest spiritual practices that we can do as human beings.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to honor, I can feel your commitment to stay open. I can feel the work that you're doing and the way that you're trying, and that battle between control and absolute release and acceptance. And it's okay. You just do your best. And on the other side of this will be a lot more capacity. And it'll either burn out because you'll get tired of it. The karma will burn away because you've shown up so fully. Or your value to him will increase so much that he's willing to step into something deeper. Those are the two most likely outcomes that I see if you play this full out.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whew. Okay. I'll take one more. I have a few more minutes. I'll take one more question.
Okay, Marios.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Marios.
Oh, finally. I've been watching your content for 2 weeks, and the stuff that I saw, the thing that you just did with hands and just made this shift, it just blew my fucking mind. I never saw something like this, you know? So to make it really quick, long story short, I can relate to others as well with this breakup situation, because 2 years ago I had a breakup with a girl, and now with all this COVID situation that I'm home, and all like these stories of loneliness are coming up, and I'm starting to feeling sad. But my question is more during triggering, because 2 weeks ago I was having my birthday, and the same girl that I had like the breakup, as soon as she sent me the text, I felt this tightening and heat on my chest, and all this good and bad and all this drama that we had just popped up. And I had some grief, and I'm still processing that. And what's happening is that usually we're not together, but whenever she sends me happy birthday or happy new year, the triggering comes up, and then I go back into the pain and into the suffering, into the grieving, and these stories of loneliness and poor me. And I even did one visualization to kind of let it go, imagining her that she's with somebody else and she's dating somebody else and she's not even thinking about me. That brings me even more grief. So how I can deal with all this pain that is coming up and with all this triggering?
Right. Well, the first step, and I think I've said this earlier today, is to accept that it's happening, right? You know, in tantric practice, real tantric practice is about being a yes, a full-bodied yes to what is, right? So I was saying, I could have said this to Chloe too, like being a yes to her broken heart the day after a very deep sexual experience is tantra. That's tantric practice. You being a yes to the grief that's still in your body around this love affair that ended a couple years ago is deep tantric practice. So I would say what I said earlier on the call, which is create a space and honor it, man. Now, some guys I know, guys in my men's group, I'll send out into the woods with an axe, chop wood, chop trees, like get it out. But whatever you need to do to honor the anguish. Anguish is the word. You know that word anguish? Yeah. Anguish is the word that really takes us into that space. It's not anger and it's not grief. It's a highly energized, deep sadness. It's a wailing. And you occur to me, my friend, as a man who needs to wail. Can you guys feel that in him? Just give him a nod, if you ladies especially, right? And if you do that, if you can truly wail from a place of self-honoring, right, you will clear this faster. So all the cord cuttings, I love cord cuttings, they're great. All of that stuff is great. But if you haven't felt the deep grief underneath the cord cutting, it's spiritual bypass. And spiritual bypass never gets us anywhere. I personally believe that enlightenment happens through the tender place in our heart. So for you, my friend, I would create some space while you're alone to really allow with unconditional friendliness. That's the way I'd like you to approach this. That's Shogim Trungpa. With unconditional friendliness, allow the anguish in your heart to be fully expressed without story. that will be your practice. So you set up time on a mat, you create music. When you feel it coming up, you're like, oh, fuck, there it is. All right, like, how do I create a space so that I can honor it? You put on music, you pound on your chest, you stomp your foot, you get on your knees, you lift your hands up to the sky, and just, whatever your body wants to do, and you wail, and you feel it at a 10 until you can feel it like a knot, like a muscle that's got a knot in it. You'll feel the knot open, you'll feel your heart open, and it'll actually feel good. It'll start to feel good. The anguish will start to feel good. And that's when you've really touched it. You've really tapped it in a beautiful way. And take this time, man. What if this next month that we're all still fucking, locked in our places alone, what if you took this next month to create the deepest, most loving, most integral practice to honor your own heart, your own pain? I could say this to everybody on the
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet, but I'm learning more every day.
Oh, wow. Sorry if Siri, I don't know where Siri came from here. So Siri doesn't know how to help us with our broken hearts, is what I think we just got. So, all right then. But you get my point, my friend. And what you want to do is you want to get to the place where you've honored this place in yourself, this part in your heart, until it dissolves, right? And let that be your practice. And if you set the next 30 days to honor that part of yourself, I guarantee if you did that daily or almost daily, you would come out of this month a changed human being. And I would say that to everybody on this call. If you took this next few weeks to deeply honor the truth of your heart, the pain in your heart that you're carrying, if you're carrying any. Some of you might be totally content and happy, and that's fucking awesome. If that's the case, blast it out. The best practice I can offer you guys as we close is to do both. I would tell Marios, take 10, 15 minutes a day, connect to that anguish in his heart, feel it, feel the pain of his parents, feel the pain of his grandparents, feel the lineage of pain. Anguish, grieve it, grieve it, grieve it. And then when he's done, reach out to 5 people and blast out love. Text your five friends that you haven't seen for a while and tell them how much you love them. Go online and offer a poem. Go and feel what you're feeling and then make art as a gift to the world. And I mean, part of this call is really just my desire, to serve, my desire to help make art out of where we are, right? So you pick your own version, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a men's group. Maybe you start a men's group, or maybe you like I said, you deliver a new poem every night for a week on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Thank you. It's really lovely to be here with you guys. And I really appreciate all the questions and the deep practice and your beautiful hearts. And it's an honor for me. If you got value of this, and you have $5 or $3 or $10 or $1,000 to give to the kids who are suffering with cystic fibrosis, they're getting fucked in this time of quarantine. They can't leave. They can't work. They were already precarious. We've got 75 requests for funds for families who are really struggling in this. So, Nicolette put the link. I don't want to pressure you guys, but if you feel inspired to give anything to Claire's Place, that would be lovely. If not, no worries. If you're struggling financially, please, please, please do not worry about it. And then I know that Nicolette may have put a couple links that are for online programs that we're going to be offering. One is an online workshop, a practice workshop we're going to be doing in June. And the other is a 90-day program that starts at the end of May. So, take a look, see if it's something that you're called to. And if so, we'd love to see you. Otherwise, we'll keep doing these every week. And I sincerely hope that this was helpful. All right. Thank you, guys. A beautiful week.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.